Welcome back to We Lead Anyway. I'm Noelle, senior leader, career coach, and host of weekly podcast We Lead Anyway. Let me ask you a question. If you are a people leader, are the people you lead growing? If no one around you is growing, leveling up, getting promoted, or leaving your team for bigger roles, you may be holding them hostage. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm saying it because it's actually true. Are you threatened by the talent of your employees? Today, we're going to talk about one of the most toxic things leaders do in the name of keeping high performing teams intact. They keep their stars stuck. They don't admit it's fear. They call it business need. They don't admit it's insecurity. They say it's timing. They won't admit that it's control. They call it team stability. But I see you, homie. And some leaders don't want talent on their team. They want dependence. Some people don't want strong talent around them. They don't want someone who can outthink them, someone who can challenge the system or who gets recognition, because deep down, they see high potential as a threat instead of an asset. Maybe somewhere inside of them, they believe if they shine, if my team shines, I disappear. And that, my friends, it's freaking bananas to me. So instead of developing people on your team, they compete with them. And if you've ever had a manager who seemed irritated every time you did something well, then you might know exactly what I'm talking about. You solve a problem and they pick at your delivery. You get praised. They remind everyone who trained you. You bring a new idea and they act like you're doing too much. And that's not leadership. That is emotional immaturity and insecurity in khaki pants. And here's the truth. Great leaders, not even great leaders, good leaders aren't threatened by talent. They're proud of it. Because strong leaders don't build teams where everyone is mediocre and dependent. They build teams where people become undeniable, empowered, autonomous. I recently started a role where I have an absolutely incredible team underneath me. They know the business inside and out. Thank God. They're smarter than me when it comes to anything in that department. That's not a threat. A leader has to leverage their team's expertise. I made it to a level in my career because I'm good at what I do. I have no ego. Nothing threatens me about my whip smart team. Just because I'm new to the organization doesn't mean I'm new to earth. I've been doing this a long time and I am very secure in my abilities. And in previous roles, I've been responsible for countless promotions because I know how to develop and lead people. I can produce the testimonials, y'all. So why fear your team's abilities? A good leader is able to produce more high performers. How about that? You should want your team to outgrow the role, expand and become even better leaders. Because the legacy of a leader isn't what they accomplish, it's who they develop. And if you hate that sentence, you might be the problem. So let's just talk about the thing. If no one around you is getting promoted, you're not doing your job. Full stop. And I'm not talking about one quarter or, oh, the market is hard. I'm talking about year after year, nobody moves. Your team stays in the same seats, the same roles, the same grade, the same pay, but you're up here talking about, I'm a people leader. No, you're not. If you're a leader and your people are not getting stronger, more confident, more strategic, more visible, then what exactly are you leading? Not people. Now, let's talk about the most common sin in leadership. Keeping your high performers trapped because they're too valuable. You know the line, I just can't afford to lose her right now. You know, he's the only one that knows this system. No. They're not too critical. You are too dependent. Because what you're really saying is, I didn't build a team. I built a crutch for me to lean on. And that is not their burden to carry. A high performer should not be punished for being excellent. That's weak. They reward loyalty by limiting opportunity. That doesn't sound right. They keep that person overworked, underrecognized, and stuck because the leader benefits from their competence. And I'm going to say this real plain. If your success as a leader depends on someone staying small or staying stuck, your leadership is fragile. This is what elite leaders understand. True leaders. They understand that while you build a team, you also build a bench. You build redundancy and confidence. You have to uplevel and develop your people on your team to become the next leader. And by the way, you need to be ready to get out of their way so that they can become a next leader. You also need to level up so that you can become the next leader. So that when your star gets promoted, as they should, your team doesn't collapse. It elevates. And let me make this very clear. When you develop other high performers, you don't lose power. You gain influence. They're not competition. But if you continue to build high performers, now you're known as the leader who can produce leaders. And trust me, companies notice that. So here's what real leadership sounds like. I'm going to advocate for you, even if it means you leave my team. I'm going to give you visibility because it doesn't make you a threat. I'm going to put you in rooms you might not be ready for so that you can grow into them, but I'm going to support you and set you up for success 100%. That is leadership. Not control, not insecurity, not ego. Now, if you're a leader listening to this and you feel a little yikes, maybe there's something here for you. So I'm going to challenge you to just ask yourself, do I celebrate my team's growth or do I get weird when they level up? Do I advocate for promotions or do I delay them? Do I share or hoard information and power? Because the truth is, you can either be a leader who creates doors or a leader who becomes the ceiling. Nobody wants to become the ceiling. And for my high performers, my ambitious people, I want more than this, folks. If you're in a situation where your leader seems threatened by your growth, you need to start documenting and positioning. Not out of fear or malice, just strategically. Get your wins visible. Show your value. Build relationships beyond your manager. Create proof of impact. Because if your leader can't celebrate your growth, they are not safe to build your future around. And I hope you heard that. They are not safe to build your future around. You cannot rely on that. So let's wrap this thing up in a bow. Leadership is not about being the star. It is about building the stars. If you're the kind of leader who wants to shine the brightest in every room, you're not leading, you're performing. But if you want to be respected, remembered, if you want to create a real legacy, promote your people, develop them, release them. Because if nobody around you is growing, you truly are not doing your job. If you're holding on to your best people to protect yourself, you're not a leader. You're a stage 5 clinger. Nobody has time for that. That is our show for today. If you have a question or topic you want me to discuss, please email me at noelleadsanyway@gmail.com. And if you're interested in professional or personal coaching and development, visit leadwithnoelle.com. And until next time, go take up space.